Hi guys! We all seen those Hollywood studio logos. The Roaring Lion, Disney's Castle logo, Paramount Iceberg with stars, or that Fisher boy that sits on a half-moon crescent. But did you know that there's a story behind the scenes? It's really interesting how these logos were created, and that's what we're all about in today's episode. Lionsgate. When you hear Lionsgate, you sort of expect to see a lion and gates. But what's interesting is that it actually has nothing to do with either of those things. There's no direct connection anyway. So the fact of the matter is the bridge in Vancouver that's called Lionsgate, and that's where the owner of the studios, Robert Altman, is from. Paramount Pictures. William Wordsworth, the man who invented Hollywood, also doodled the mountain peak that appears to be the logo of Paramount Pictures. It looks a lot like the one you might find in Ben Lomond in Utah, where Wordsworth spent his childhood. The original logo of 1914 featured 24 stars, the number of actresses and actors that signed the contract with Paramount at that time. The modern logo has only 22 stars, and it's still a mystery why. DreamWorks Pictures. It was assumed that DreamWorks logo should feature a fisherman sitting on the moon. Robert Hunt, the guy who created the logo, had another idea. He thought it would be a lot better to draw a fisher boy instead of a fisherman, and studio owners liked the idea. By the way, the boy on the moon is Hunt's son. He later became the composer and is now working in the music industry. Warner Brothers. Well, this seemed pretty simple. There's a shield with Brothers initials on it. The thing is that this isn't the real name. Warner Brothers' parents moved to the United States from the Russian Empire, the territory which now belongs to Poland. They were von Scalazers. Brothers' names Harry, Albert, Aaron, and Sam were also different. They were Hirsch, Aaron, Shmuel, and Yitzhak. Columbia Pictures. The lady you see on the Columbia Pictures logo is tend to be an embodiment of America and the studio archetype. It appeared in 1924. What's interesting is that the lady is more of a sort of collective image than some exact person. Although the common American housewife Janie Joseph was taken as a pattern model. She was greatly deformed as the logo was finished. Michael J. Dees painted the picture back in 1992. Walt Disney. Originally, the prototype of the world's most famous animation studio logos was the German castle called Neuschwanstein, but in 2006 it was changed to Cinderella's castle from the Disneyland in Paris. Pixar. The Pixar logo came to life because of the successful debut of the studio. Viewers adored Luke Zhou Jr., the lamb from the same name film of 1986. That's why it was decided to put it on the logo instead of the letter I. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. The originator of the famous Leo the Lion logo was Howard Dietz. It all goes back to 1924. Dietz attended the Columbia College where they had a sport team called the Lions, and Dietz decided to use different lions as the company's mascot. Their names were Jackie, Tanner, some unknown lion, and finally Leo. The latter represents the company till this day. I feel like I should mention that none of those lions were hurt during the shootings. Castle Rock Entertainment. Today Castle Rock is bought by Warner Brothers. They started in the early 80s when they used to make films based on Stephen King's fiction. It was called Castle Rock after the name of the imaginary town where events of their films took place. By the way, this lighthouse can be seen in many other films. Scot-free. The producer Ridley Scott has his own studio. Its logo is an animation that shows a man turning into a bird as if the man breaks free, fighting the peace and freedom within himself. And the way it was made is very interesting. First, the illustrator Gianluigi Toccafondo drew each movement and then photographed each drawing. The overall composition looks stunning. So, are there any logos you guys want to know more about? Share that in the comments and maybe we'll try to look up the history of some of those. Don't forget to press the like button and subscribe if you want more Real Bizarre. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye bye.